It's really quite fun to summarize the signs of the trigonometric functions. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you over here on the far right side that I'm going to remind you again. I know you're probably getting tired of this, but this picture is going to be a picture of where the trig functions are positive. So remember that all the trig functions are positive in the first quadrant, and we have proven to ourselves that sine and cosecant are positive in the second quadrant. That makes sine and cosecant negative in these two spots. Please remember that all the trig functions are positive in two places. For this one, it's right here, and they are negative in two places. Please remember that tangent is positive in the first quadrant, right here, and the third quadrant. So is its reciprocal function. Tangent is positive in 1 and 3. Therefore, tangent is negative in 2 and 4, as well as its reciprocal function. Finally, cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant as well as its reciprocal secant. So cosine and secant are positive in 1 and 4. So cosine and secant are negative in 2 and 4. So, I'm sorry, 2 and 3. So I'm going to put this right here. So the trig functions, like cosine, for example, positive in two places, cosine secant negative in two places. So what I'm going to do now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to say to you that you've got a problem where the cosine of the angle is some negative number. I don't care what it is at the moment. I just want to find out the quadrants in which the terminal side may lie. So cosine is positive in 1 and 4. Therefore, cosine is negative in 2 and 3. And all I'm asking you to tell me is that it's in the second and the third quadrant that the cosine of an angle could turn out to be negative. In this problem, I'm just asking you, where is the sine of an angle going to be positive? Because it's going to happen in more than one place. So come on over here to this picture. All the trig functions are positive here. Sine is positive in the second, so you're just going to tell me that this can occur in the first and the second quadrants. When we go to the next section and talk about this material a little bit further, we're going to want to find out the size of these angles. So we're going to find theta, given that the sine of theta is 0.781, and our calculator can only give us one answer. So that's the dilemma. Calculator can only give one answer. So that's where we're headed. So finally, I want to know now where the cotangent of an angle is negative. So what I tend to do is I tend to think about where it's positive. So cotangent is positive in the first and the third. First and third. Therefore, cotangent is negative here and here. Look over here. I've got cotangent is negative in the second and the fourth quadrants. That's all I'm looking for. Tell me where this can be true. And then finally now, I'm going to go here and I'm going to try to keep these pictures available. What I'm asking you now is to isolate your solution in the location where something can happen even a little bit further. In case you have a little struggle with this, what this means greater than. Where is the tangent of an angle greater than 0? So in other words, where is the tangent of an angle positive? If it's greater than 0, then it's got to be positive. So tangent is greater than 0 or positive, that's up here, in the first and the third quadrants. That's where tangent is greater than 0. Comma. So please note the comma here. At the same time, I want to know where the cosine of an angle is less. It stands for less than 0. If it's less than 0, then it's a negative number. So where is the cosine of an angle negative? I could go over here, and it looks like it's cosine's negative here and here, second and third. That's because it's positive in 1 and 4. So cosine is less than 0 or negative in the second and the third. And finally, where do these two scenarios meet? They only meet in the third quadrant. That's the only location where the tangent of an angle can be greater than 0 and the cosine of an angle can be less than 0 is in the third quadrant. Let's do this again. So where is the tangent of an angle negative? Because it's less than 0. Let's see, tangent's positive in 1 and 3, so it's negative in 2 and 4. Let's see, cosecant is like sine. I just like to come over here and say it's like sine. It's easier to think about the main trig functions. So where is cosecant or sine? Where is it less than 0? Or where is it negative? So again, they're positive in 1 and 2. So they must be negative down here in 3 and 4. Again, I'm asking you where these two things can happen at the same time. 2 and 4, 3 and 4. And that's just in the fourth quadrant. You should take a pause and do the next one and then listen to my response. So where is the sine of an angle greater than 0? Or in other words, where is it positive? Sine is positive in the first and second quadrants. Where is secant less than 0? Or in other words, negative? Secant is like cosine. I'm going to put here, it's like cosine. Cosine is positive in 1 and 4, so it's negative in 2 and 3. And then I just want to circle or make note of the fact that these things can only happen together in the second quadrant. We were done studying the signs of the trigonometric functions. What we're going to do in our next unit is we're going to go and find the size of the angles that have these possible positive and negative ratios.